welcome to Treehouse number 38. So thanks, guys, for coming. So yeah, this Treehouse, I just thought to touch base with everyone and just have a think about a bit of a restructure of Treehouse, because some things I think aren't really working on the website. Some things could be done better, and just get your feedback on some of those ideas and what we can do. So I might share my screen actually and just bring up the site so we can all look at that. Can everyone see my screen now?
Yep.
Cool. Looks good. So my first thoughts just around the members. So the members and the roles. So we never really got into the roles and people having different sort of tasks and jobs, and never really had any jobs posted for anyone to participate in. So I was thinking is making the members more of just like a member listing, probably a bit more like the partner listing on the Web One site. So just you're listed there, and you could put some of your services there, maybe your contact details, or how you want to help or how you can help others, and just sort of list that in your own little profile or whatever you want to sort of mention, but maybe do away with all the roles and things like that. Yeah, what are your thoughts on that? Or do you think the roles could be evolved into something else, or how would you like to see that your own listing sort of listed there? Anyone have any thoughts on that? Or would anyone be opposed to removing the roles? So specifically, all these sort of things that we were assigning to different people.
I wouldn't be opposed to it.
Yeah. Okay.
No.
Because I think I would like to make it more beneficial for you guys. So, if you're listed out and maybe there's even ways to get more work from this. So if other partners want to contact you for specific things, so maybe we have sections where you can list specific services or things that you can help other partners with. So then it just makes it clearer and easier for other partners to contact you for those specific things. So would people be interested in that sort of change and trying to get maybe leads and work out of this?
Anything like that helps.
Okay, well, that's good with that. And so the other topic I want to talk about is the meetings themselves. So I do want to try and ramp up the regularity of the meetings. So probably, hopefully there's enough to talk about every 4 weeks, maybe pushing it to every 6 weeks. But do you think, I'm not sure, we've talked about it before, but having the idea of the meetings being more secure. So I think in general, the discussions are fairly open enough to be public if anyone chose to ever watch them. But I guess being secure, it gives people more of a safety net, I guess, to talk about things that they want to talk about, and also show their client work, because maybe they don't want to have their jobs that they're working on clients for other clients to be sort of public. So, but then on the other hand, having secure meetings means that people have to log in, and that creates a bit of a barrier there. So does anyone have any thoughts or preferences on how they would connect to the meetings, I guess, or watch the recordings? I mean,
I know it's extra work, but I personally like the idea of keeping them secure, just so there's no hesitation to say maybe something that you don't want out in public. Or I know in my case, if I'm showing examples, there's a lot of clients that I can share with the group, but I don't think I could share with publicly.
Yeah, exactly. That's my thinking too. So
maybe it can be a mix of both.
Yeah, okay. So what sometimes have more sensitive ones in it secured and leaving other ones public, you mean?
Yeah, or just maybe specific topics that we do that are public, just showing the benefits or the abilities of Treeple or of Web1, excuse me, just to promote it, and then doing other secure stuff for partners and sharing and different things. And maybe some of those public snippets could be taken out of, and just maybe it's just a quick little 5-minute deal or something just to show a feature or whatnot.
Yeah. Okay, that's a good idea.
Yeah. If it was overall, it was secure, which means we can talk about pricing and all kinds of things that that are particular to our partners, but not for public. But then, to be able to pull out excerpts that are just posted publicly for people to watch at other times on different topics.
Yeah. Okay, I like that idea. Yeah.
I think I recently thought about this when we had the last meeting with Alex. When he mentioned that he loves that we have Treehouse, but he doesn't want to decide anything, and he shouldn't. But I get his concern about the meetings being public, because often when we have gone through the theme of the day, we go to, okay, what is your problem? And then we have like 10, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, sometimes hours of negative things about what we are struggling with. And that, of course, correct. And that's problems we have, but we don't sit down and talk about 3 hours how amazing the system is. So if you see it from the outside and you just go and see, okay, what is this all about? And you stumble upon these videos of partners just nagging on how difficult the system is and how many problems we have. When you see it from the outside, it can be very negative. And that was what I thought Alex was trying to convey, was to say, okay, this can be a problem for the system in general, because it's gonna feel fairly negative. So that would be my main reason for them not being public. For us, specifically ourselves, and I could see it with some clients that some things we wouldn't share if it was public, but that's, for us, I guess it's the least of it. It's more like what is beneficial to all of us in terms of bringing Treeple Web1 to a higher level.
It could be like something that Ryan said about, like, if it's something that you don't want to have out, then we're going to have that behind some secure level. And if there's topics that we said, well, one presenter says you can just let this be public, well, then we can just edit the video to that and let that part be public.
Yeah, makes total sense. So even within the meeting, splitting it into maybe two halves, like the first half is the presentation style or demonstration, and then the later half is the private, then discussions on who needs help and things like that. Or depending on how the volume of topics go, we could even have two separate meetings, a public one and an in-house sort of one.
Would that overcomplicate it? Is it better just to run the meetings as secure, and as guys were just saying, you pick out, it's a bit more work from the video, putting the video together, but you just pick out the stuff that is, we're happy for it to go public, but because otherwise, you try and structure meetings where you got, you talk certain topics, and if it's going to be proper free-flowing conversation, I think it'd make it easier to make the whole thing secure, but then produce video with the unsecured content, the public content.
Yeah, I guess we probably just need to see how it goes. I guess if there's a specific topic or someone's doing a presentation, then that's obviously a separation. But just, I guess it depends on the topic and how we do it. But yeah, I guess they'll all be recorded. So if it's sensitive, it goes behind a secure zone. And if we can get something out of it for public use, then yeah, we can. So okay, that sounds good to me. Is there any preference on like how regular people want to attend these meetings? Because like 4 to 6 weeks, I sort of feel is a sweet spot. But I guess it does depend on how much activity is happening. But I mean, from past experience, there hasn't really been that much to discuss. So I think 4 to 6 weeks is fine. But do people want more regular or less regular? Like, does it interrupt your day to do these things?
I think 4 to 6
6
weeks
weeks
for me
feels
personally is pretty good. I'm sorry.
Yeah, 6 weeks feels fine to me.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep, same.
Perfect. Okay. All right. So the next section, which to me at the moment, I think is probably the most useful part of Treehouse, is the code snippets. So I'm definitely going to put in more of an active effort to really flesh this section out and add more code, and encourage everyone else to contribute to that. But as this grows bigger, I think there's going to need to be more categorization or search functionality, that sort of thing. So I'll work on that. But is there any ideas or ways that you guys want to, like, when you're looking for solutions, like, is there ways that you would find it easier to find things in here? Like, do you think having pictures or thumbnails of things, or
Maybe
like
having a keyword search would be helpful.
yeah, definitely having search. Yeah. I sort of like the idea of having them in sections of functionality. So if you're doing something with, forms or secure zones, obviously you can just quickly drill down to everything that's in there. I mean, because sometimes you might not know exactly what you're looking for, but you're just looking for something that can enhance the project you're working on. So yeah, I'm just really looking for any inspiration on how you guys might want to look for, code snippets and things that are going to enhance projects or help. So yeah, if you
Maybe 5 modules, and then anything outside of that could maybe like a liquid category, for any liquid snippets that might not be specific to a module.
okay, yep. So like by module, that makes sense. And then yeah, so you're saying like what if it's a liquid based thing, like what liquids like component it's using, or
Yeah, I guess, it's just my opinion, of course, but if I'm looking to do something with a specific web in one module, it'd be easy to search that way. And then if it's just a general liquid snippet that maybe could be used on any module or in any application, if we had a liquid category, it might, I don't know. I'm not as fluent with liquid as maybe some of the other developers are. So
yeah,
that would be helpful for me personally, so I'm being a little selfish with that.
yeah, no, that's fine. Okay, so sort of the liquid. Okay.
How about highlighting what's been recently added?
Yeah, okay, great. I think I do have that on the actual resource page, but it's very well hidden. So yeah, I think bringing that up down the bottom. But yeah, definitely highlighting that makes sense. Do you think there's the need to tag them whether they're V6 or V7 compatible, or should we just sort of look forward to V7 only? I can see
Well, I still have sites on V6. I think start looking forward. I'm trying to migrate mine as a renewal dates come up, whether it's fine to stay grandfathered in or not. I'm just trying to get everybody over to 7, so 6 is kind of history.
Yeah. Okay.
Personal. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing the same.
Okay.
Maybe just highlight ones that are V6 only, and then you presume the rest are.
Yeah. Okay.
If there's, I must admit, I don't get involved in code too much.
Okay.
Prefers me not to.
Do you feel like if there were more code snippets available and more tutorials and that sort of thing, you would get more into it, or you don't want to?
I think I'm happy being, worrying about the UX and the design and that side of it, and letting the code team do the technical stuff for me.
Sure. Okay. And on a similar note to being V7 or V6 compatible, do you think it's overkill to tag them? Like, what features that they need. So like what they're compatible with, like the plans, I mean, whether it can be on the starter plan, pro plan, etc.
Yeah, I think all of that would be helpful, because I think if you're just doing a search, the more content that goes into that search, the clearer it is and easier to find what you need.
Okay.
Then you would know whether you're pushing the price of the thing up or not by using it.
Yeah.
And then you'd also know whether you were wasting your time trying to install something that's not going to work because you don't have the plan that's high enough for it.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay, great. Okay. So that were all my thoughts on this section. Anyone else have any other thoughts or feedback for that, or how you might have used it in the past? Before we move on. Okay. So then the onboarding kit. So we had a section here to try and help new users come on board. So obviously this hasn't really been tested out that much because there aren't really a flow of new users. I still think a resource like this is helpful, but I'm thinking maybe if this becomes more of like a web-in-one thing, maybe even on the documentation site, as opposed to it being here, like a community thing, because I think it's probably something that web-in-one would have more benefit taking charge of, or, I mean, you know, the community can still contribute to it, but if it's more official, I guess they can push it onto new users as they come on board a lot easier. What do people think about that? Or do you think it's better left as a community resource?
I think if you were looking to join Web-in-One, you wouldn't necessarily see this site and know that this was available.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I think it is better to be controlled by Web-in-One from their website.
Yeah, that was my thoughts as well. So everyone's generally in agreement with that then?
Yes, I agree.
Yep.
Yep.
Cool. Okay. And then the last topic I wanted to discuss on my list was just the idea we had I think in the last meeting, and it's been brought up a couple of times, particularly by Tim, just having that new sort of space, like a business hub to work with, and still sort of throwing up the idea whether it's a totally separate entity or whether we bring it into like a treehouse structure. So that's just like this open business hub to discuss anything really related to running, you know, a web design business or marketing business. Has anyone had any more thoughts on that since the other meetings? I like the idea of it being part of Treehouse just so that we can promote it a bit better and it's more, you know, connected with us. But if it's another separate thing, then that just makes it another separate thing. So I'd like to try and find a way to bring it into Treehouse if there's a way to do that.
I agree with you, Adam. I think it should be part of the Treehouse because it's the same community, same people, I guess, discussing topics.
Yeah.
And it could just be flagged sessions, could just be, you know, every couple of months we have a session where we talk about that topic.
Yeah, okay.
Be as simple as that, I guess.
Yeah, so kind of just structured, really it's the same as just a Treehouse meeting, but it's just more geared to... Yeah.
So just a topic, just keep it simple and see where it leads us to, how many people are interested in.
Yeah, okay. All right. Awesome. Okay, well, that's really all the topics I wanted to discuss. Does anyone else have any thoughts or feelings on the Treehouse website, things that they would like to see on there or change?
Just as going to the last part of the last meeting with Alex and some of the stuff was being discussed. I recall there was a chat about making services available like to each other, things when you've got overload, when you need to get into something you haven't worked with before.
Yep.
Sharing those services. Am I right in thinking that, or did we not get into that?
Yeah, I think that was brought up. I don't think much was talked about in that meeting, but yeah, so you're sort of talking about like a job board, like a listing.
Yeah, I need help with this. You know, we're under the pump, can't get it done, don't know how or otherwise, and then just find some resources amongst the community to help out.
And that was kind of my thinking with the members listing. So changing it more to a listing of members and like how they can help. So maybe we can incorporate that as well into could be, I don't know, an inquiry form that even, or it's a way for people to post jobs there, and then it goes out to all the partners. Or at least to partners who have selected that particular service or something that they can help with. Yeah, it could be a
It might also be a good way of getting more partners involved with the community and Treehouse, because I'm always surprised at how few turn up to the meetings.
Yeah.
But if they could see that they could possibly get some more extra business and income from it, then that would help motivate them.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and yeah, try and incentivize it more for people to come on board and help out. And yeah, I'm totally on board with that. Obviously, job board. I'm not sure how that would work. Could we maybe when they post things? I'm not sure. Maybe I do it like a regular MailChimp out that has any recent job postings or something, because I don't know if I can individually send a message out to members that are on the Treehouse site once a post is done. But yeah, okay, I'll think about that.
Is there some way of setting up that area that would notify us when something new is added to it?
Yeah, a little trigger that just automatically went out.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess we can do that. Yeah.
Save doubling up and giving you more work.
Yeah. All right, look into that. Yeah, that sounds good. And I think that'll flesh out that members area, make it a bit more useful. All right, cool. Any other thoughts? I think like the resource section, we did have like the agency and the marketplace. I think the marketplace, that's almost kind of what we're leading. Well, it's a bit different, isn't it? Because you're selling things. I think that may come in the future, but I think for now, just code snippets, free code snippets are probably the way it's going to head for a while, because there's a lot of complexity with the marketplace. And then, yeah, this agency section is probably what we're heading towards with the business hub. So that will probably just sort of become more of just a business hub for general discussions. But yeah, certainly open to any other suggestions if you've got them, or if you think of them later, just let me know. Okay, well, I think some good ideas came out of that, so I'll look into fleshing out those a bit more.
Can I bring up just a general web-in-one to see whether other people have got the same issue? It's to do with the fact that we had PayPal for running paying our annual fees, etc. And now with the Stripe, we haven't got the ability to use Australian bank accounts, so it's got to go through a credit card. Is anyone else got an issue with that? Because having to run it through a credit card, I think, is just adds cost, etc. I've been onto Victoria about. I don't think they realise that the system they've got only has American banks in it, so you can't have it coming straight out of your account. And apparently, they don't want to use PayPal anymore. So, has anyone else come up against the same issue or got an opinion on it?
I've definitely noticed it. Switching from PayPal to using my credit card, and I cop a little bit of a fee, and I think it's about $10 to $15 for every site renewal on an annual basis. But it's not a deal breaker for me. It hasn't impacted me terribly, and PayPal was still adding a fee in there somewhere. So much of a muchness, but I get that there is an issue there.
I got it a few years ago by opening up an account with Wise. So you can have it. It's not a credit card. It would be a debit card, and you can have accounts in whatever currency you want. So I always keep just enough US dollars in there to pay for whatever my next renewals are. And their exchange rates are very good and the fees are very low. So I'd highly recommend looking into them.
Yeah, I guess I might be strange, but I run really small credit cards, and now with the fees up where they are, you've got to run much bigger credit cards. Maybe I'm the only one that's got a problem with it, so that's fine.
Yeah, no, I see your concern. I always use credit card for that sort of thing, but yeah, is it like a Stripe limitation just because Stripe doesn't support Australian banks?
Yes, that's where Victoria's come back to me saying they're looking into it to whether they can get Stripe to add Australian banks into it.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
That's all. I was just wondering if anyone else had the same issue.
Yeah.
We've always just used credit cards.
Yeah.
Because I was used to using the PayPal straight out of my bank account.
But similar to what Hope was saying, can you not use like a Visa debit card?
Yeah, no, I can. I just make sure there's enough in the Visa card. It's not a deal breaker. It's just inconvenient.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I guess like Stripe obviously offers a lot more flexibility from their end to control renewals and things like that. PayPal's a nightmare, and I personally don't like using PayPal to pay either. So for me, it's a good thing. But yeah, I do see where you're coming from.
That's all right.
All right, guys. If anyone else has anything to bring up, now's the time. But we might be able to make this a shorter meeting than usual.
No, nothing else here. Thanks very much for your time on it, Adam.
Yeah, no problem. Anytime.
Thanks, Alan.
Thanks, Adam.
Adam.
Appreciate it.
All right.
That's it.
Thank you.
Take care, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.